Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Yoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to sit here and talk to you about something that's been going on in Japan for the past few days, which is this huge aggressive debate on war. And how did that happen? What happened? Well, there's this lower house legislator named Hodaka Maruyama from the party called Ishin. I believe he's 35 years old, very young for a politician, like a national level. He's an elite kind, so he graduated from Tokyo University, which is the best university in Japan, and he has this golden career. But he has this alcoholic problem, and sometimes alcohol can get to him and he causes some drama. I guess he personally is conservative or right-wing, but the party Ishin is not conservative. Prime Minister Abe is in favor of the party because the party wants to revise the constitution, but the party Ishin is not conservative, so the conservative votes won't be stolen by them for Prime Minister Abe and his kind of people, if you know what I mean. So long story short, I would say that the party Ishin is useful for Prime Minister Abe. Anyway, this young politician named Maruyama, he accompanied this group that was visiting what we call Hokkoryodo, so northern territories. There are islands way up north in Japan that were stolen by Russia right after the World War II, when everything was chaotic. They used their military force and stole the islands that belonged to us. So since right after the World War II, we always had this territorial dispute with Russia. But you know, Japan, we were disarmed and we have also lost our souls to fight due to our brainwashing education here in Japan. In school, we learned that war is bad. Repeatedly, war is bad, war is bad, war is bad. And we also have to memorize our constitution, especially Article 9, which prohibits us from having military force. And leftists here strongly believe that the reason why Japan is somewhat peaceful is because we have such constitution, but they believe that we wrote it. They don't like to admit the fact that it was something that America wrote back in the day. And it's quite strange that even though they are pro-America in that sense, they cherish the constitution written by the US, but they want to kick out all the US bases in Japan, so I don't know how their thought process is. Anyway, the disputes of northern territories, you can look it up online, but those islands were illegally stolen. We don't see any progress in that dispute, so we are losing our patience. Our diplomacy sucks, I have to say, because the tendency of our diplomacy is the reflection of our culture, which is that you don't want to fight with anybody. Even if it is for you to protect your national interests, Japanese politicians are Japanese people, so Japanese people don't want to argue with people. We don't want to argue. We don't want to have different opinions from other people. Japanese diplomats, Japanese politicians, they treat the diplomats or politicians from other countries like their friends that they never want to disagree with. And they don't even demand common sense, That's why we have problems with South Korea, North Korea, and China and everything. They can't speak up for ourselves. And how I see it is, of course, the voters are stupid. The citizens here are just, we don't have the sense of international society, and we don't even choose the right politicians. And what's worse, there are good politicians like Maruyama. I don't like him, I have to say, but on this issue, what he said on this issue was actually correct, and his attitude is something that all politicians here should have, but he is now getting bashed. So what did he say? There's this group that visits the islands, I believe. There are people that believe that if they become friends with Russian people, we can take back our territories. Which doesn't make sense at all, because we have been friendly to Russia all along, right? And apparently it's not working. So the politician Maruyama actually asked the leader of the group on how to take back our territories. And his question is something that got really viral. Basically what he asked is war an option to take back our islands? Going into war, is that an option? He asked something like that to the leader of the group, and the leader said that no war, no war, please stop, and blah blah blah, war is bad, war is bad, war is bad, the brainwashing. Exactly the brainwashing that we're taught in school and from the media. Of course, the conservatives in the US, for example, I bet are opposing to wars, but that's for different reasons, right? You don't want to interfere with other countries, and you don't want big government, you want small government, and you want to take care of yourself by yourself. Considering you want to have guns to protect you, I bet that you would do anything to protect your country. If another country came to your territories to take over, you would fight, right? You would protect your land, right? But that way of thinking in Japan is a terrorist. We can't even ask if war is an option to solve problems. Like, look at Trump administration. I remember President Trump ordering an attack in the Middle East. The US military launched missiles. It was threatening enough for the US politicians to make things forward. That's something that you have to do sometimes. The force is something that you want to show sometimes to keep reminding people that, hey, you can't mess with our country, and you do that, right? You do that on a business level too. But anyway, what happened to the young politician is that he got bashed so much from the media and all the leftists and so on, just because he asked a question if war is an option. And he was also actually drunk when he asked that question, so leftists are intentionally mixing everything, like he was drunk, he was irresponsible, and when he asked the question, it was actually during an interview by the press, and he went in there because he was drunk and lacked in his judgment skills, you know. And on the top of that, they are saying the war is a crazy idea to take back our islands and so on. But as a result of that, the young politician Maruyama, he submitted this resignation letter to his party, like he wanted to be apart from the party, taking the responsibility. But the party Ishin didn't take it, and instead they expelled the young politician. And not only that, the party Ishin is telling the young politician Maruyama to quit his job as a National Diet member. It's something that we voters decide. It's something that the Japanese Communist Party people are saying, you know, like those like crazy left people want him to resign because they don't want Japan to have military power or even like national identity. I didn't like the party Ishin to begin with, but I hate the party now. He's young and he lacked in some, you know, manner and everything, and he does need to work on his alcoholic problem, but what he said, what he insisted as a politician is something that we should all admire. He is really thinking about solving the problem, and war can be an option sometimes. But the party Ishin, I bet, is looking at the election, national election that's coming in July. The Japanese society itself is the left. The majority of people here are brainwashed still, and they really, you know, demonize wars. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't demonize wars, but the party Ishin didn't want any politician with this idea that can be thought as a terrorist or a crazy by the majority of people because they want votes in the coming elections. They didn't even protect their mate, and that's crazy to me. Samurais would never do that. And the party Ishin also apologized to the Russian ambassador. Like, that's crazy. That's what traitors do. Diplomatically speaking, that's something way beyond the line. The party people are saying that Maruyama, the young politician, crossed the line, but it's them that crossed the line. If you're representing your nation, you do not apologize to other countries unless it's decided in the National Diet, or for you, probably Congress. So the party Ishin apologized to Russia, as I said, so conservative people are furious on that. That's something that should never happen, but it did happen, and conservatives are bashing the party Ishin, but at the same time they are the party that would revise the constitution with LDP, so like things are really twisted. You know, I posted a video in Japanese like before this video, and what I was saying in that video is that it's crazy that we can't even talk about wars, because if we start talking about wars, that will expose the problems of wars as well. like pro and cons. You will see all the things and they will be all aligned, and then you can finally, you know, make a judgment on what you think about it. But people here just simply has analogy of war, and whenever they hear the word war, they are like, ah, no, 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 no. They try to make your wars go away. I don't even know what to say because it's just so ridiculous, and that's something that what we are dealing with right now. Like, think in my shoes for a second. Like, I understand English. I know what people are talking about in the international society. In other developed countries, people are talking about cyber wars and space wars and that sort of advanced stuff. And in Japan, we don't even have the military, and we have analogy on wars, and we can't even talk about war, while people in other countries are talking about way advanced stuff. And no wonder why we can't have conversations with other countries. Yeah, Russia will be always Russia, you know. What I'm saying is that geopolitics will never change, so there will be the same kind of wars over and over again. Like, you know how they took Crimea, and that's for a geopolitical reason, and Russia has that way of thinking because it's an independent nation unlike us. We'll see what's gonna happen, but if you can cheer up Japan, that would be very much welcomed. If you want us Japan to be in charge of Asia, like if you want us to be the leader of Asia, not China, then it would be nice if you could help us by telling us to, you know, get independent, like have our own military, and that will actually be beneficial for you, for the US. If American people could raise that kind of voice, that will be imported here from the outside. And Japanese people are so weird. When we raise our voice from within, people don't really listen to you, but if you say like, oh, this is something that foreign people are saying, then they listen to you. Like, we have this complex. Anyway, I'm gonna go now, but before you go, please check out my Etsy store, my art. I'll actually show you. This is my most favorite one. See? This is touched by me. This was drawn by me, and I have another one, and I should have another one, but it's like I have a lot of art, you know, so I don't know where it went right now. But if you buy my art, then you will get a letter from me too. If you can, please check it out. And if you want more free content from me, please support me on Patreon. And if you want to talk to me, follow me on everywhere at Random Yoko, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, that sort of things. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel. I shouldn't care about numbers, but it really helps, you know. Yeah, I ask a lot of favors, but I hope you don't mind. So anyway, I'm gonna go now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have an amazing, fantastic day for me, okay? I'll talk to you soon. Bye!